Greetings and salutations. Prophet Brian, otherwise known as Rasayam, Black Star Movements Association. Let us guide our destiny. Yeah, bless up everybody out there. Just here in the live, initial launch here to get into some good talks, good reasoning with all Black conscious people out there. Perilous times we're living in. But then again, we were always living in perilous times as Black people, hundreds of years, same turmoil and so forth. But we here, give thanks to our ancestors who made it, because without them, we wouldn't be here today. All conscious people, all freedom fighters, all of those who stood up for justice, who helped pave the way for giving us the opportunities that we get today, and laying the foundations for us to take on the spirit and the psyche of defense for ourselves and nation um, throughout, and especially in these times. So give thanks, greetings. Um, Nobody's here in the live as yet, so just go on wait and see what it do. Black Star Movements. As always, you heard it from the other channels. Like, share, subscribe. Uh, Relate it back to all your conscious brothers and sisters out there. Some of those who are not really certain, lost in these times, not knowing where to go. The hyper information age is basically there's a whole lot of things that are out there to confuse, lead astray, a lot of misinformation, confusion, propaganda, and you have to have a critical mind to go through all these things to come out on top, which is basically, just peace, love within our lives, and having a functional and productive life so we could leave a good legacy. But I just want to wait in the meantime and see who gets up in here. Conscious strength and power. Give thanks one and all. Greetings.
You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right?
I'm on, have to tell you next.
I'm like so.
Yeah, big up my brethren. Yeah, Jayut. Yeah, 7R Star. Yeah, Just Family. Yeah, big artists coming out of Toronto there. Travelers well been around the globe. Come up with Jamaica. And I believe he repatriated himself there, residing in the Gambia. Yeah. Well, a couple of months I've seen him. But big up to the brother here, providing these tough lyrics towards positive conscious movement, liberation of Africa.
Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? It's not listen get to you. You need to know Emmanuel. The black Christ of salvation up as I need well. Heads of government, the people them a go rebel to the system where you create of us living in hell. Time a go come you cannot buy nor sell. Babylon is falling out, the time can tell. Africa unite, come make we break them spell. Bless us, chest us Emmanuel. Yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey. Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Listen, Africa is my responsibility to see my people living up in love and unity. Marcus Garvey said this is the words of prophecy. Black people full of love, so there's a possibility amongst Africans who want no brutality. Some killing what I want South Africa have to flee. Build more schools like don't need your facilities. I said me royal African tree. Alright then, Africa unite. I stop from far. You're You killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Africa unite. I stop from fall. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Now listen get to you, you need to know Emmanuel. The black Christ of salvation up as I need well. It's a government, the people them are gonna rebel to the system where you create a us living in hell. Time a go come you cannot buy nor sell. Babylon is falling out that I can tell. Africa unite come make we break them spell. Bless us, Emmanuel. Yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey. Africa unite.
Africans unite. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Long time we're supposed to unite and stop the fighting, stop the fussing, cut out the nonsense, recognizing the black self, put away the petty prejudice and the differences, come together, hold strong and hold firm, one black strength, one black power, start with the conscious revolution of the mind, break off the mental slavery, come correct, loveful people, protect the motherland, black colony, black life colony, by all means necessary, all hands on deck, black man, black woman, black children, resources to feed our children and ourselves, not just us today, but for the unborn Africans of the future. Yeah. Okay, so I recognize one soul has entered the chat. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, Black Star Movement Association. They are another place. Go under the thing. First time live. Ready to launch some conscious positivity, real truth, in-depth reasoning. Yeah, you're not gonna get this anywhere else in surface level talk. Yeah, get into the real nitty-gritty of what's been ailing us as a race and resolve issues. You're in a Babylon or nothing on Guam. Join the Black Star Movement. Africa we say. Repatriation we say. Can't repatriate on a whole without funds. So reparation we say. Reparation in conjunction with repatriation is a must. The fund I return to Africa, set up foundation so we could settle and help unite the black family. And we ourselves, the ADOTs, Africa descendants of the transatlantic slave trade and subsequent slavery. Even though it's atrocities that has been woven into the quilt of our identity. And I'm here proud to say that I'm a descendant survivor of the Black Holocaust. That slave triangle between West Africa, Europe, and the Americas. With all the whips and the chains, the hanging, the slaying. We're there. Conscious black strength and power. Free up the mind. Come back to the black self. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the only way forward. Economical power is needed for us to manage our resources. But without the right thinking, as you see with neo-colonialism, we're going to be plagued with corruption. We're going to be plagued with ignorance. In the face of need for practical work, we're going to have a nation of people lost in religion, praying to a God that doesn't exist, a God that is like the mist, praying to oblivion into the nothingness. And if you pray into the nothingness, your return is going to be nothingness. Awaken and recognize the God within. Black Star, rise and shine. Wake up, Black Nation, wake up. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, man, Black Star Movement Association. Your honorable host, Prophet Brian, otherwise known as Ras I Am. Yeah, man, Baba Shanti Rastafari, cultural background, Pan-Africanist, pro-Black African, all day, every day. Love my Black race, proud of my people as a whole. But a lot of things I've been seeing throughout my life in reality and even on the TV, and it's blacks acting a fool. Whether they're in school, bole, or out of school, alele on the street. We're better than that. The authors of literature, science, astrology, astronomy, geography, geometry, ancient mathematics, you name it, will lay the foundation for the world that we live in today. Living off our ancient knowledge that we receive from the Most High, studying the world. They dig and they find, they came, they conquered, and now they utilize it to hold us into oppression. A lot of us is here loving the gadgets, the press this and the press that, not realizing that it's AI that is looking to take us over. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, meaning that the instrument that you use every day is claiming that it's smarter than you, more intelligent than you, can write faster than you, come up with artwork, music, all the things you hold close and dear, but the Most High best do it. This artificial thing is telling you, say, hey, I can do it better than you. I can do it faster than you. You already seen the Matrix. You already seen the Terminator. You already seen the Mad Max and all these movies, pretty much giving you a prelude to what it's going to come to, which is a crashing end. So we have to rise and transition back into nature, back into the ancient world of reality, out of this matrix. Started out with the slave trade, started out with branding us with hot iron. Now it changed from that to credit cards and social security, social insurance numbers. Yeah, from the gold, coins, now to credit card and checks and all these things, all the way up to digital currency, cashless society. Have nothing and be happy. How can you have nothing and be happy? When the Most High Jah give us everything. When the Black African world give us everything. Come back to the reality. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, long as we conscious, we got to be free. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, yo, from we're conscious, we got to be free. Yeah, man, blessed love in our Black nation. Bless up all the Black masters and cruising out there. Yeah, man, big up all my Ghanaians, headquarters of Black Star Movement Association on the continent. Big up all my Canadian Ontario Torontonians, place that I resided for a long time. But big up all the friends and families that I met throughout my time in these places. You know, big up to the America. A lot of information and knowledge has always been coming out of America, especially New York. You know, Malcolm X, stomping ground for Marcus Garvey in Harlem there. A lot of current going through those places to awaken the Black mind. Big up Jamaica, here from my birth. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? It's an island of current and power. The original Marcus Garvey was born. Myself was born. Leonard Howe was born. Holy Priest Emmanuel, the Black Christ in flesh, was born. Bob Marley, the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley was born. So we're just moving with the tradition and culture of conscious black people standing for a cause and appealing to not just the evil white world of colonization and imperialism and white supremacy, but to our black people. Because targeting the white people, the Europeans, in terms of what they did is just half of the story. You know, it always takes two. So what are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna treat ourselves? The white man can't teach you how to love yourself. You gotta do that yourself. You could get back the money, the gold, even the reparations. Guess what? You're still in the position of not knowing and loving yourself. So that is just part of the story. And we have to wake up and get back to the consciousness. A clean heart and a conscious mind, that is the real treasure. Yeah. And make sure we're identifying with our black skin. You say, all who don't love the color of their skin as a black person, they're lost. Honestly, they're lost. I was born black and I love that. Regardless of the position that we find ourselves in, I never envy the wicked. I never envy the oppressor. That's why repatriation is a must, because I'd rather be fighting it out with the mud roads, the undeveloped situation in Africa with my beautiful black people on the ground. Yes, we want better. Yes, we want food, clothes, and shelter, and all the basic fundamentals of life that is due to all humanity. A large part of why we don't have that is because we've been robbed by the evil white world and indoctrinated by their system of praying to nothingness while they're stealing everything and worked us out to the bone to develop their world. So we can't be stuck on them. We can't be stuck on stupid. We have to desire a world for ourselves. Put away all the petty differences, you know? Various tribes, thousands of tribes and languages within Africa, you know? So recognize that the ADOT is adding to that quilt and that family. All the conscious black Africans returning, you know? African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. We are the lost tribes. Yeah. So we are coming in and we want our land. We want our settlement because this is the inheritance land of our ancestors. And it's not just for born Africans. We want our cut. Yeah, but it's too much at stake to be leaving it to born Africans. We can't have this divided mind to look at to say you're a foreigner coming and outside, up and outside. Same way they look at Europeans, they want to look at I and I. No, my black brothers and sisters, where's the love? The love can't just be tourism to say, welcome, year return and these things, spend our money. Visas up, time to renew and pay again. That visa's up, sorry, go back to the colonization white man's land. Where's the land to call our own? Oh, you want to sell it to us? No problem. How do we get it on this? Well, you could lease for 50 years or 100 years. Lease? I'm sorry, but we're special. We're not born Africans per se because they have their tribes with their chiefs that hold land as trust for them. So they have somebody to cry to if they don't get their land. You know? Who are we going to cry to? We're the abandoned. We're the ones sold into bondage, prisoners of war. So we don't need a mere 50-year, 100-year, geez, even if it's a 200-year lease, that is not enough. We deserve more than that. We deserve a settlement, a land, a territory to call our own that is indefinite as black diasporans coming to Africa. Why? For what we've been through, where we're coming from, and where to go. We're going to be a staple in Africa. We're not here temporarily, even though we have the freedom to go and come, freedom of movement, to go and come as we choose. We need a staple. Culture clash, differences of different tribes. We don't want to impede on anybody. We don't want to step on anybody's toe. As a Rastafarian, specifically myself, I'm not just coming in looking to, you know, assimilate into African culture. To the powers of the Most High, I got my culture already as a Rastafari. You see the turban? Priestical order of Melchizedek. Yeah, so when I come in, I have my culture, my ceremonial order, the specific attire that I wear. So well prepared. So it's not all of us is in the same situation out here that we're cultureless, looking in to say, hey, I want to come and pour out libations per se. Nothing wrong with that. And for those who subscribe to it, nothing wrong with that. And those doing their ancestry.com, 23andMe to try to find out your DNA to, what region they're from. Me, well, that's good. Me personally, I'm all right. You see this? My badge of honor, I know I'm African. So I don't really need, or I'm not really looking for anybody's approval per se. Respect and love, most definitely, but I don't need no black brother, no black sister is approval to say you're African, because the Most High God didn't make a mistake when He crowned and bore me black, created me black. So my credence and respect is to the Most High every time. Yeah, so blessing me with that. And it's time we connect back with family and transform into the one power that we really need to be. Okay, blessed love here from, I didn't even see the message. I didn't see the question there, but yeah, big up to everybody joining into the group there. I see currently about 3 people. Welcome. Yeah, man. Black Star Movements Association, traffic running. Yeah, I was just giving it a little more time to see if, any more people that's going to be coming up in here. So we could, just have some fun. Yeah. But yeah, talking a lot of serious things. You see my face. I'm not an old man. Don't get it twisted. The conscious struggle, even though it's pain and sorrows, it's a joy. Yeah, manifest here on earth to fight the good fight. It is my pleasure to be of service to my black race and my black people, the Most High God, and a conscious cause. So even though times we go through some toughness, rough edges, hardship, the ultimate reality and truth and love and balance of the soul is to know we're fighting for a good cause. So it's a joy. It's my pleasure. If it's not fighting for the cause, it's eating cherries, and being by the beach, whether at up in Ethiopia there. Yeah, big up to everybody. I'm not really seeing these messages staying a long time, but big up to everybody coming in. I'm seeing the messages stay up, but they're not really going for too long. Just a sec there. Beg your pardon. Okay, there we go. So hey, can we get? Wow, disappointing. Okay, I believe it's something in regards to get land. I believe we're talking about Africa. Absolutely, you could get land returning to Africa. It depends on the country. Africa is 54 nations. So take your pick, take your country, your state, your African nation state. You're gonna have to go into some research and see the details on that specific country. My experiences is usually between 50 and 100 years lease across the board for African nations. I don't know if that was set up as a means to stop the colonizers from coming in and taking on land full time. So they set a kind of a limited time period there. But it affects the local population as well, which I see is not fair, because it's like we're getting the same treatment as those basically came in to do us harm with the imperialism. And that's some of the injustices I witness in Africa. It's like, how come we're getting the same treatment? How come we're getting the same treatment as the colonizers, the Arabs, the Asians, the Europeans, and in some ways even worse treatment? Because what? It's not just a racial thing; it's a class system as well. You don't have the money, you don't get certain privileges. But you could definitely get land. Myself, I've acquired land in Africa, but it's on a lease basis, 50 years lease. upon the ending of that agreement, you have the option of renewing the lease. But ultimately, the people that you lease the land from have the last say. So once again, you just have to research, do your due diligence. But most definitely, there's African nations that you could get your land and trust from coming in. Like Ghana, for example, they're open up for business, so you could do that. Yep.
Africa unite. I stop from
Africans unite.
far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't say that is not right. Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't say that is not right. Now listen, get to you need to know Emmanuel. The black Christ of salvation up as I need well. Heads of government, the people, them are gonna rebel to the system where you create a was living in hell. Time ago come, you cannot
But
buy
yeah,
nor
one of
sell.
the first
Babylon is
steps
falling
or
down, the
second
time
steps in
can
terms
tell.
of acquiring
Africa
land in
unite, come make
Africa
we
is
break them
you have to
spell.
be on the
Bless us,
ground.
Jesus Emmanuel.
It's not
Yo,
wise
hey,
to
yo,
just
hey,
be
yo, hey.
here in the
Africa
West over the phone or the
unite.
internet
I stop
trying
from
to acquire
far.
land like you're
You're killing
ordering
off
a
your brothers
pizza.
and your
You're
sisters.
asking for
Don't say
trouble when
that
you
is
do
not
that.
right.
Africa is a
Africa
developing nation.
unite.
While it's very
I stop
wealthy
from far.
in terms of natural
You're killing off
resources,
your
in terms
brothers
of
and your sisters.
development, it's still
Don't say
poor.
that is not right.
And
And
there's
listen,
a lot of
Africa is my
dubious characters.
responsibility to see my
It's
people
like that's the
living up in
current
love and
recurring theme
unity.
with black
Marcus
people
Garvey
all
said
over the
this is the
world.
words of prophecy.
Um,
Black people full of love, so
that
there's
I'm
a
basically
possibility.
experienced or familiar
Amongst
with.
Africans who
But if
are
you
love
don't do your
brutality.
diligence in
So
getting there
killing
on the
what happened
ground,
in South Africa have
where
to
you're
flee.
going there
Build more
permanently,
schools like them did
or you're just
facilities.
taking
I
a
say me
trip,
royal African
go
tree.
there,
Alright then.
seek out the place, see if you like
Africa
the place,
unite.
see if it's
I
conducive
stop
with how
from
you want to live your
far.
life in the
You're
current.
killing off your
Or if it
brothers and
doesn't
your
suit your
sisters.
taste,
Don't say
maybe
that
you
is
see
not
development
right.
going on and you could
Africa
adjust yourself for the future.
unite.
Because
I stop
lack
from
of development, all
far.
it means is
You're
room for
killing off your brothers
opportunity
and your sisters.
that you could take
Don't say
advantage.
that is not
But
right.
you have to
Now
be there on
listen,
the
get to you
ground,
need
get
to know
to know the
Emmanuel.
people.
The black Christ of salvation up as I
Go to the
need well.
government
Heads of
offices
government, the
and get
people,
out
them are go
paperwork.
rebel to
You
the
could do
system
some
where you
research
create a was
online
living in
initially,
hell.
but
Time ago
once
come, you
you
cannot buy nor sell.
find a
Babylon
place
is
of
falling down, that
interest,
time can tell.
plan a trip,
Africa unite,
get
come
to
make
know
we
some
break them
people,
spell. Bless
networking.
us,
It's all about
Jesus
networking,
Emmanuel. Yo,
and that's
hey,
what you got
yo,
to do
hey, yo,
first
hey.
and
Africa
foremost before you even think
unite.
about saying they're gonna put out money to say I want this land and that land. There's paperwork. Paperwork could be made up, nice, pretty, well put together, and then when you look, it's not legitimate. So you have to know the key things to look for. Some would recommend lawyers as well. You get the right help in terms of lawyers looking over document. But land registry, there are steps you could take, step by step process in terms of acquiring land. Um, it's no big deal once you do the necessary groundwork. But if you're just gonna, oh, Africa and I want land and just jump to it, you're looking for a world of trouble. You're looking to be taken uh, and be out of pocket. So that's just the reality in terms of that. Yeah. So yeah, right now, yeah, it's a Sunday. Some people's probably home with their family eating and whatnot. It is what it is. The vibes is still going on. Black Star Movement Association. Yeah, how's everybody doing? What's on y'all minds here as black people? You know, currently in the Western world myself, just basically working and putting in the work to reinforce and strengthen myself to go back to my home, which is Mother Africa, the place where gods and goddesses love to be. The current state of affairs with black people, wow, it's a sad one. It's a sad one. You still see that there's no unity in or out of Africa. Self hate is very prevalent. Um, there's a big divide going on between black man and black woman. Not all, but enough where you see it laced on the YouTube, laced on the airways. And you have some taking up the position of Magta, man going their own way, passport bros, and these things, which is to basically go to other nations and go pick up an Asian woman, go pick up a Spanish woman, go pick up a non-black woman, and while everybody is free to do what they want to do in that sense and find so-called love, emotional love, and their own taste. For some of us, like myself, It's straight black, um, no compromise, no sugar, no cream, just straight black coffee. Regardless of some of the realities that I experienced, and I could say, yeah, I'm not a hypocrite. I see certain attitudes that the black woman has taken on as a result of being indoctrinated um, by the Western world powers, and as a result of the black man falling into weakness, we're not at the right state of power that we normally would be to take care of our family in the right way, because it's still a struggle. It's still a struggle. And a lot of the divide is the result of a lack of understanding, to know our position, where we're from, where we're at, and where we're going. There's not a lot of empathy just for the black race in general, because we're in the race war. A lot of people now, you'll be hearing war in Ukraine, war in Gaza, and the Middle East, and these things. These are skirmishes. Sorry for the people losing their lives, but uh, plenty of these is happening over the years. These battles, civil unrest, and all these things. But the real war, the real unseen war that's hardly been spoke about, is the race war. Mhm. What is the race war? The race war is basically, in the beginning, God created man and woman, which is black man and woman. And for one reason or another, we spread throughout the world, the earth, and we mutated, um, interbred with different homonyms based off DNA tests and all these things. You have Neanderthal, you have the Denisovans, different hominids, which is a sort of an upright walking kind of a monkey sort of creature, according to yeah, the scientist. And as a result of that, other human race of people, humans, because the predominant is the human DNA, but it's not the same in terms of even the look and even the nature of the different races, and we know that based off the actions. And yeah, they risen up, and the past 5, 6 thousand years or so, it's been a constant trying to enter into Africa, to basically hold power and dominate the continent, ruling over the resources and all these things. Various nations attacked Egypt, came it there, whether it's the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans, and every time they came, you know, Kemet and along the River Nile, knowledge there, it is a hub and wealth of information, knowledge, world sciences, that ones that is barely learning how to crawl, and then when they come and find that knowledge, they basically evolve mentally into more higher thinking beings, not necessarily on the spiritual level, but on the physics level, the physical, learning to manipulate the environment, smelting iron, roadways, making bricks, blocks, because we went from like the Stone Age, the Iron Age, various different ages, Bronze Age, you know, and these has allowed people to develop civilizations in a rapid time, which is out of the norm compared to the so-called evolution of man and the brain and these things. The level of how fast they rapidly develop, it was some sort of divine intervention or something like that. Because it's like, how did they go from hunter gatherers to basically sophisticated societies? You know, but during that time, Africa was always there with our ancient societies, Kemet, other places in the West, Morocco, Malawi, there, South Africa, and basically preserving and protecting the sacred knowledge that basically allowed us to rule the earth. And invaders came in, they conquered, they took over. Very different ways they came in. Sometimes they tried to be friends. Sometimes they did it as just trading to do business. And one way or another, they got in interbreeding with maybe some local women, getting into certain royal families. We ourselves as black, some of our leaders, we traded our princesses and these things. So the families intertwined. bloodlines intertwined, and that resulted in some of these outsider people getting a foothold in Africa and getting power. And it wasn't for peace and love. It was all about just ruling. And the race wars, it wasn't as bad or prevalent as it was in those days because people were more staying within their respective territories. They didn't have the plane, they didn't have the railroads. It was mostly horseback and camel or walking, so people didn't have the mobility to travel as much. So um, people decided to stay outside of some nomads and so forth. A lot of people decided to just stay uh, where they're at, unless it was the need that arose in terms of lack of food, drought, and that forced them to migrate. But with that, um, a lot of them, when they came in, just like with the Americas during the transatlantic slave trade, they came with their problems. They came with their way of thinking. They came with their disease. They came with their bad mannerism. And in some of the cases, all hell broke loose. And it was always set up in that sense. The reason why they came in was basically to survive and to look power. And Africa was just sitting there, wealthy, strong, and you had people in Europe, cold, a harsh life, harsh tundra environments, and to survive. So it was just natural to say, hey, we got to go to where there's more life, even though the sun was an issue for some of the non-black peoples. But they decided to come in anyways because it was either that or die. And with the attitude that they have, it wasn't really, hey, let's share, let's live in love. It was one of just brutality and barbarism, where let's just go take that from these people. And while you had the empires of Africa that was there doing their thing, Africa's vast. So there was always different villages, different communities that were outside of the empire or broken off that wasn't really governed as much. So these were places that were easily more invaded and taken over, where the outsiders got strong hold into Africa. But we always maintained. And in some of the cases, we even traveled outside of Africa to help set up our ports and our different regions to even set up trade, set up communities, and even to facilitate assisting some of these people based off of how we see what was going on. So we're the original humanitarians, and we had empathy for some of these people and what they're facing as humans. But part of that empathy is what caused us to end up into the problem that we were today, because the nature of some of those people, they took our sweetness for a weakness. Basically, learning from us, learning our ways, and learning some of our science and technology. And as a result, you know, we traveling outside to the Asia and various places. The rise of the gunpowder and these things plays a large part in turning the tables on black people. Because today, it's not the world is ran by merely just economical power. It's still a gun thing, it's still an arms race thing, held hostage to say, give up the goods or else, you know? And these outside races is looking to safeguard their world. Even some is not even caring about their own people, but they use their people to help to do the dirty work and sell them the propaganda. If we don't kill, murder, and pillage these people that don't look like us, create a racism and a negative narrative of fear and hate, and make that the way of life to operate on. And basically, if we don't hold our foot in the necks of these original black people, we're going to go back into that dark age of sufferation. So as a result, um, came to West Africa, saw the gold, saw the wealth, saw the people, um, got word of there's a place in the Western world called the Americas, and basically got assistance from some of the black to navigate through the water channels to find these places, which they coined the New World, and began their conquest of those people that were existing in the New World. Didn't recognize them as being worthy, sometimes not even human beings, but weak pushovers, and began the onslaught. Strong warriors, strong warriors. They were lying when they said weaklings, strong warriors. But what is a strong warrior with a sword, bow and arrow, compared to the power of mechanicalism, which is the gun? You know, these projectile shooting things where you'll be wheeling your sword, you know, from how much 100 meters away or whatnot, and a gun could touch you, the bullet, and you're dead. All that years of training is nothing in the face of a gun. You could have been the greatest kung fu master, studied at Shaolin, greatest swordsman, swordsmanship. Good luck. But we see what it is today. People, can we all get along? I wish we could, but the experience and the reality is we're not getting along. We still hold on to the ideal with overall justice and humanity that one day maybe we could get along. That is the faith, but we can't be distracted with mere ideal when we're faced with the reality of harsh conditions, racism, hate, um, you know, being cut out of the means to survive. And within Africa, there you see neo-colonialism, which is corrupt governments put in place to oppress the continent, where it's handicapping us from being able to rise up. It's handicapping us from our redemption because the evil world suppresses and oppresses us and keeps us down from basically reaching a place of power where we recognize ourselves and we take control of our environment and world by basically producing the goods that we need for ourselves. Because they basically brand us as consumers, a place to distribute and dump all of their products in these modern times. So they want to keep their market. China wants to send out all their Chinese products, Chinese rice. Africa and the black world is a great place to dump it because we're not really manufacturing or growing uh, to sustain ourselves. We need certain equipment and technology. Um, India and Bangladesh wants to come with IT and bring that to us because we're not doing it ourselves. We find oil in Africa, we're not really getting paid the right amount because what? We don't know how to refine or oil refineries. So we seek aid from the foreigners, and when they come, we get a raw deal. You know, and these raw deals is like business as usual with certain agencies as the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, really basically a global uh, corporation that comes in to broker deals with black people. And these deals are often wounding because it puts us into chronic debt that we could never come out of, you know? So it's kind of a loan shark when it comes to Africa. And bad deals, it's not really brotherly or cousinly. But when we look at our African leaders, we're scratching our heads to say, why are they taking these deals? It's one thing if the outside people um, propose these kind of deals. You know, it's like, hey, I'll sell you a pen for $1,000. That is like strange. That is not fair. It's too expensive, and we'll think that. But when we look, we'll see our African leaders signing on the dotted line, say, "I'll take that for the $100," with no means of paying for that $100 because in his current system that he has, no jobs, no means of production that is going on that's going to allow him to pay for that $100 in the meantime. So why is he taking that deal? It doesn't make sense, and the people need to hold these leaders more accountable for every move they make. They're not there installed permanently with the rise of independence and so called democracy. Everybody gets a turn, 4 years, 5 years, whatnot. They could extend that to 8 years, like dominoes. Everybody gets a rub and then they move on. So the fact that these people get a limited and temporary time in office and they could do such, you know, damage, irreparable damage in the wake of other generations and people to come long after they left out of office, the damage that's left based off of the decisions they made, it continues to ripple through the nation. And sometimes it's very hard to counter, or if another better government would come on. Yeah, greetings and blessings. All people enter in the chat there. Big up yourself, Honorable Elijah Stars there from the Elijah Star Mindset Program and channel. But yeah, as I was saying, these governments they leave a legacy of damage to the nation that the existing populace and the future generations is going to have to take up and manage yourselves. And sometimes it's irreparable damage. And we have to hold them accountable because the nation belongs to the people. Black Star Movement Association, Rastafari, Pan African, pro black, we are of the people. And the people stands above all government organizations, corporations, and institutions because without the people, uh, those things don't exist. Those things come in places as entities to basically manage the affair of the people. Politics and politicians come into place to manage the resources of a nation. So we can't allow these people to, destroy what is there, and then they just go about their business, fatten their pockets, help out their family, get rich. When they get sick, they go abroad to get their, you heard the spiel already in the rhetoric. They fly out to Europe, they fly out to Sweden and Belgium and get the latest scanners for their bodies when they're feeling sick. They don't stay in Africa. They leave the place in horrible conditions. When you go to Africa for a hospital, it's a class system because if you don't have the money, good luck getting the right assistance. You'll die right there. And I know that's a scenario in the America as well. But with the wealth that we have, these are things that need to be changed. But yeah, the whole scenario of the black world is just one of like, wow, like this is crazy. You're born into this world, you see what's going on. Your mother loves you, nurses you, nurtures you. Your father, you see him go out, stand strong. You see him, you love him, you learn from him. But then you see a weakness, a dent in the armor because why is dad has to go out there? Why is he leaving the home? And he's going out there for hours at a time. We used to play, we don't get to play anymore. What's going on? Dad has responsibilities, have to go to work. Huh? What's that? Hmm? Mother's there. You hear bickering in the house. What's going on? Up, food on the table issues. There's not enough finances. And that starts to create this negative ripple energy in the family structure. And as you grow, you go to the institution called the schools and you learn, you get to see what's happening, and eventually reach the point to say that, wow, you're next in line potentially to go to the same situation because you learn quickly when you want to buy that soda pop and you want to buy that latest shoes or get that latest song that you have to get this thing called money. And to get this money, you got to seek employment or start your business. But we're really educated from the jump to say go start your own business with entrepreneurship. We're basically guided and coerced into the notion of employment, go work for another people. And I'm not anti job, I'm not anti employment for other people, but the condition of the black world, where we're coming from, where we're at, and especially when you're in the Western world, is ADOTS, once again, African descendants of of the transatlantic slavery and subsequent slave trade. You have to basically go ask the descendants of the slave masters whether they're a good European, a good Arab, or whatnot. They have their legacy they're leading to. Their foreparents enslaved ours. Their foreparents colonized us. Their ancestors dominate us. And now, we're in the Western world, and just to survive, we have to go seek aid, help, and employment from the same descendants of the slave master. Some is better than some, but with money involved, it's always a money situation, production. The treatment is just your number. So while it's organized, it's not much different if you study from the slavery of the past. Social insurance, social security number. Um, there's no culture in there because it's a money corporate culture. Make sure you're on time. Um, punch in your card and whatnot and get to work. You work, work, work till it's break. You work, work, work till it's lunch. You put in an 8, sometimes 10, 12 hours. You go back home, you try to eat, get some rest. You're doing it again. Your daughter's watching you, your sons are watching you, and they're like, wow, this is life, you know? And then they're marketed to by the media with man's playing basketball, man's running fast as a means to get out of the system and that situation because you could get more money. More money means less problems. But as you grow and study and watch, you get to realize that more money, more problems. An example of that is Bill Cosby of the past. And even today, you might see going through the media with P. Diddy there, you know, um, yeah, money can't always save you. While it's very necessary and needed, it's just a quarter of what is needed. And once again, it's a conscious revolution that is needed more than anything else, um, within the black world, because money can't save us. Religion can't save us. We don't walk the path of religion, praying, singing, Lord, Lord, you know. And while I have my faith in God, God is the ultimate, God is love, and God is within, and God is also without. God is universal. But to take on the ideal and the notion and the connection of God, it doesn't. Or it's not supposed to hold one down from reality. It's supposed to awaken one to more a supernatural reality, to the wholeness of this creation, spirit within man, spirit within woman. So that way we could live and lead a life that is worth living, one that is of substance, more than just to say eat and drink and make money. We know spirituality, taking a time out to reflect within our inner selves, meditation and prayer, that is a godly thing because we know we're connected to a greater thing than just merely flesh. So it's a good thing. And that is a vital part of culture for us to strengthen ourselves and to guide and lead us in whatever we're doing. But we find ourselves in a world that spiritual nature is put at the back. It's on the back burner for what? The basic needs of survival because we're in a race war for the basic fundamentals of life, your food, your clothes, and your shelter. And a lot of people run from that spiritual path because they're looking at it like, what am I getting from this? What am I getting from that? And while the spiritual path is very necessary in guiding, if there's no balance between the material path as well, then you're going to end up in a world of trouble. No different than if you abandon the spiritual and the God self and go purely into the material side, you're going to end up into a world of trouble as well. So it's a balance between the both of the material and the spiritual that's going to bring about a truth, a reality, and a quality of life. And that's what the conscious revolution is gearing at and needed within a Black African context. While it'll be great for all the world, I can't speak for the world. I could barely even speak for my Black nation. I'm speaking for myself as a conscious Black Idrin, Rastafari, Pan African, pro Black, ADOTS, African descendants of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. And I know what I need. I see what I need based off of studying. And, the Black Star Movement channel is just basically trying to reach out, connect with all like minds that has come to the same understanding that we need something more than just the material. We need something more than just to clap and sing and say, Lord, Lord, and God, God. We need it all. We came from the all, so we need to go back from the all. Everything was blessed to us and given to us, so we don't need to leave nothing on the table. We want the gold, we want the diamond, we want the tabernacle and the temple. We want to give the praise, we want to give the honor, and we want to be on the beach sipping lemonade as well. So we don't have to leave out anything. We just have to know ourselves, you know, and just have love and do the right thing. Do the right thing, know each other, love each other, protect each other, Geographically speaking, Africa is our home and headquarters, and it's been under attack for the past 5, 6,000 years plus. So we have to protect that. We're in the race wars. Many don't understand it. What's all the fuss for? What's the big deal? Race doesn't matter. There's no such thing as race. Um, the amount of erroneous mind states that are out there. Race is merely the categorizing of human groups based on phenotype, geography, and ancestry, how they look. So you happen to have the Negroid, the Australoid, the Caucasoid, and the Mongoloid. And these are the racial groups that, based on different dynamics of a mixing here and there, you might get a Mexican, a mixing this particular race with this one here. You might get an Indian, or you might get an Arab or whatnot. But those are the four pillars of the races. And even I've heard um, black scholars take it on that notion as there's no such thing as race. It's a man-made concept and all these things, and they're right. But my take on that is, what isn't a man-made concept? What isn't a man-made social concept? God is a man-made social concept, because man in the flesh, we are the one that created everything. We are the ones that divine or define our reality. Whether it was inspiration from God or the cosmos, we are the ones that define our reality. We are the ones that make up names. And in the same breath, these scholars will be describing people or distinguishing them by saying the white race or the white people or the white or the black or the Chinese. Those are racial categories as well, and those are social construct. So it doesn't make sense you say there's no such thing as race, but you're gonna go on and say the white people and the black people. And if you're just gonna go and say we're all humans, which we are, that is not enough, because there's ethnicity, there's tribes, a whole bunch, plenty of different designations that man has brought forth to distinguish themselves from other groups. And race is just one of those major ones that I'm all about race. And as a black man, is race first. And I subscribe to the black race, the black African peoples of the earth. Yeah. So these are the realities that we're facing, Black Nation. And yeah, I've been on here now. Plenty of things to talk about. Just about one person remaining in the chat. I'm pretty much going to leave it off there. Give thanks for everybody that find the time out of their busy day to participate in this live. Look forward to more coming. I haven't set a schedule as yet, but I'm thinking maybe if not 2 weeks, maybe once a month, and just going to be touching on pertinent topics having to do with consciousness and the Black world. And I'm going to try to provide my email as well, so ones could, get ahead of the time and even recommend uh, certain topics. If I like them, I'll basically work with it and try to present that and highlight and provide my intake on those things. But it's just knowledge, wisdom, understanding, unity, love, having our identity, know what's happening to us, and we have to make the change, the positive change, which is a conscious revolution for Black people to redeem ourselves. We can't continue on how we've been continuing on, because it's not resolving the issues, and we're just leaving this mess for the next generation. And we have to do our part. It's not right. Who knows better? Do better. So yeah, just wake up, keep it real, subscribe, share, you know, like the channel. Let's build it. Let's get it together. This is not just for some YouTube props or anything like that. This is basically an outreach to like minded, conscious people. We could network and get the work done. And we could do that in various fashion. Not all about seriousness, but have some fun. Travel to Africa various times, from Ethiopia, Uganda, Ghana, passed through South Sudan before it became South Sudan, and planning to make many more travels. Africa, my home. So whatever video I could make from those. I'll be presenting it to y'all. But it's all about the positive content and the consciousness. That is our identity. It's not merely black alone, because being black alone is not good enough. Because there's good black, there's bad black, there's the in between black, the united black, the disunited black. So we want to be a conscious black. And conscious just means you've awakened, you know yourself, you know the truths, you know your reality. And this is what we want to be defending from now going forward, and forging the way to go into Africa and take root and be an example to our African brothers and sisters there who need to unite and know themselves as well. We're going to be there as, a people that they could look to for strength, just like we're going to look for them for strength as well, because they know the land, they've been on the land. So we're going to learn from each other and become one black family. So that's where it's at. So stay tuned, stay blessed. Let us guide our destiny. One black strength and power. Blessed love.
You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Hey, hey, hey. I'm black so Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know Africa unite? I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? This in Africa is my responsibility to see my people living up in love and unity. Marcus Garvey said this is the words of prophecy. The people full of love, so there's a possibility amongst Africans who want no brutality. Some killing what I want South Africa have to flee. Build more schools like don't be facilities. I said me royal African free. Alright then, boom, boom. Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Now listen, get to you, you need to know Emmanuel. The black Christ of salvation up as I need well. It's a government, the people them a go rebel to the system where you create a us living in hell. Time a go come, you cannot buy nor sell. Babylon is falling out, the time can tell. Africa unite, come make we break them spell. Bless us, just us Emmanuel. Yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey. Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? Africa unite. I stop from far. You're killing off your brothers and your sisters. Don't you know say that is not right? This in Africa is my responsibility to see my people living up in love and unity. Marcus Garvey said this is the words of prophecy. Black people full of love, so there's a possibility amongst Africans who want no brutality. Some killing what I want South Africa.